Man, oh man, oh man. That's what happens when you start telling lies and start sneaking around too much. You start getting paranoid. You start looking over your shoulder. You start jumping. You start maybe losing your mind a little bit and losing yourself in the music the moment you want it. This man has crashed out to the degree that we have kind of been waiting for to see. And it's just sad to see this brother throwing everything he had away for nothing. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. Thank you for joining me. We are going to recap the American sports story, Aaron Hernandez, episode 8, titled Odin. It just dropped. And man, this series is way different than it started out with the mood is saying. Of course, we know the story's going to change a little bit, but the mood is completely different. This was, I said the climax happened a couple weeks ago when Aaron, he was crashing out and everything was kind of imploding and he shot those other two dudes and killed them. Well, this was the real climax. I guess that was the first climax. This is the second climax. Usher, this is the second bridge of the Usher song climax. So if you ain't heard that one, you already know what time it is. Or if you have heard it, you know what time it is. But anyways, man, this episode was serious. There was no jokes in this episode whatsoever. No laughing matter. We got to meet our friend Odin Lloyd for the first time, and we had to say our goodbyes to Odin Lloyd. I mean, it was boom, boom. No pun intended, but they got rid of that brother with the swiftness. And it was crazy. I can't believe that we got a good detail, I'd say. In this, actually, I can't believe that we followed through with so closely to actually the real story. I did my research on what really happened with this part specifically because I wanted to see how closely they would tie the two together, and they actually did a good job with it. They left a few details out, just a few, but we'll get there. And I think they did a quality job in kind of really just keeping it raw in this episode. This is the most raw episode that we got to date. And yeah, this is one Aaron crashed out on, and he's losing himself in the music. I don't know if he was acting that paranoid in real life, but definitely I wouldn't be shocked if he was because of the drugs. But we gonna get into it, y'all. We started out with getting a small football montage of a semi-pro practice. This is where we meet Mr. Odin Lloyd. He plays for some local team. I forget the name of the team, the Bandits or something like that, the Boston something. If you don't know anything about semi-pro football, it's pretty much grown men playing to play football. They got regular jobs. They're not getting paid. They just doing it for the love of the game. I know some people that did semi-pro football. I would never do it because I ain't trying to get hurt for no reason. I would do flag football, but not semi-pro football. It's just way too much. I love the game, but not to that level. And Aaron soon, he's out clubbing, partying, not taking care of his business at home with his family. He's been gone for 3 days in a row. I'm like, brother, what you doing? Now he got his little halfway house, as I call it, with his guns and his booze and his drugs and everything is at this house. And it's crazy that he's hiding all this from his girl. And at this point, look, she's just trying to get through this rough patch. And I feel for her heavily. She really had to put on mommy and daddy roles for this poor, poor child. Terrible, 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 terrible. I wouldn't wish that upon any child or any woman that has to deal with, her man being a deadbeat. I don't fly with that in the least bit. And I mean, Aaron ain't listening to nobody at this point. I mean, his brother's disappeared from the show, essentially. His mom, nowhere to be found because he probably wouldn't listen to her anyways. And there's just no adult male role model for him to kind of lean onto that's positive. Tebow's out the picture, so there's just nobody left for him. It's just him. And he's making his money now. He got his contract, so nobody really can tell him nothing at this point. And Aaron comes home soon because his wife calls him, Cheyenne, and she's like, "Look, her sister's over, and Odin's her sister's boyfriend, and they're over for dinner." And she's like, "Aaron, you better get your ass home right now. I ain't playing with you. We might have a messed up marriage, but you're not about to mess up my image. Now get home now." He's like, "All right, now come on." So he sets down the booze and the party, and he gets home. He meets Odin Lloyd and well, he met his sister-in-law already, essentially sister-in-law already, and they're having dinner. And him and Odin are getting along. Odin, he tells Aaron that he plays semi-pro football. He's really nervous to meet Aaron. He's a big fan of his. He probably has him on his fantasy football squad. Aaron even shows him his trophy case, all the goods and whatnot. And this would be cool for anybody, especially if you're from the hometown and you're meeting like a famous player. I mean, that's like me going over to Patrick Mahomes' house, essentially, or Travis Kelsey. That would be lit. Now, I treat him like a normal person. I wouldn't fan out, but definitely I'd be like, it's kind of surreal. I'm at your house. I'm at your house. The only NFL player's house I've been to is my friend Charles Harris. And that's my dog. He's the real deal. Played for the Carolina Panthers if you don't know number 40, the real one. But he ain't got the status quo like Aaron had. And so definitely this dude is fanning out right now. And he even brings him a lick of some green to chomp on to make a nice peace offering. So Odin seems like a good quality dude. And soon we see Cheyenne and she's fed up with Aaron and his behavior, his leaving the house, his temper tantrums, his absentee parenting. She's over it. And she can't deal with it anymore. And she vents to her sister about this as well. And soon we find out that Aaron's aunt, I'm gonna call her aunt, the lady, she's really his aunt, family friend from way back, that she has cancer, breast cancer, and he's upset about this, and it's definitely hitting him hard. And this is the beginning of the crumble. And well, I ain't gonna say the beginning because it happened a while ago, but another layer added to his stress. And Aaron's agent soon calls him and tells him that he has to pay off our dude Sherrod. Sherrod wasn't playing about getting his money. He said, look, you got to pay this dude off or else it's going to be all in the news. And if you find out that we shot a guy in the face, you're going to get cut from the team. No team is going to want to pick you up. You'll have that lawsuit against you. It's going to be bad, coach. So just slide this one under the rug, pay this man his money, and you got to take this L. Aaron was pissed off, frustrated, but hey, he dug this hole himself. I mean, it's all self-inflicted wounds right here. Everything has been self-inflicted. It's not something that just some tragedy happened and some accident happened. This has all been his own doing. Some of the upbringing, trauma, but definitely when you got the blessings coming, y'all, you got to make sure that you stay humble and make sure that you realize what's going on around you. Don't self-sabotage because that can be the worst case, you know? And if you feel like you might self-sabotage, have call somebody to be your caretaker or something like that. I don't know, coach, but learn from this man. We all learn. I learned like, look, when I make it to that point, don't self sabotage and don't crash out. I won't. And soon, Aaron decides to go to Odin's semi-pro football game with his girl, and he watches the game. He gets, more. We see more of the football. How do I call it? Acting per se, but anyways, Odin gets a pick and he's having a good game and whatnot. And after the game, I believe they won. Aaron goes into the locker room. He starts dapping him up, and he sees everybody. Everyone's freaking out, like, "Oh my gosh, that's Aaron Hernandez. He plays for the Patriots." Blah blah blah. And yeah, they would be freaking out. This dude is a star amongst amateurs, so they definitely are loving that. And they probably dapping up Odin like, "Look, boy, we got you next game, coach. We're gonna get you 3 picks and a free sack." And it's funny during this game, like Odin, when he gets a pick, I forgot to mention he points to the crowd like this is remember the Titans, and he's Burkett. Is that his name? I forget his name, but the moment it reminded me of the Titans where he's like pointing at the other team's coach. they stole that. They definitely stole that. But Aaron Sue starts kicking it with Odin a lot. They both start kicking at each other a lot, and oh, I repeated myself just now, y'all. It's late. Aaron starts using a lot. They go out to the club. He isn't really Odin scene. You can tell he's kind of hesitant, not really in his comfort zone, and he offers Odin some dust. I ain't gonna get into what dust is, but it's a form of sniffing drug you should not take and just stay away from. He's like, it's not coke, it's just dust. I'm like, bruh, ain't you? Didn't you just get off an injury? I mean, Aaron, look, he's lost already. He's lost at this point. At this point, he's way far gone. He's doing what he wants. Nobody can tell him anything. And he's getting drunk. He's getting lit. He's getting high. He's getting everything right now. Popping pills. The whole 5, 6, 7, 8. And Odin's having a good time at the club. He appreciates Aaron. He's probably Aaron's paying for everything. Odin doesn't get much time like this at all because usually he has to work. Like Aaron, I forgot to mention, Odin was spoke before they went out to the club. Odin's like, I can't go, I can't go. And Odin's like, or Aaron says, oh, well, here's a stack. Call out sick tomorrow. I was like, damn, where's the, I need that to go out. Give me $1,000 to go clubbing with you, and he gonna pay for everything. Sign me up. And yeah, but that gets Odin dapped up in this shrew of darkness that Aaron is involved in as well. And he unfortunately gets sucked into that world when he seems like a good quality dude. And Odin asks him to keep out at the club to take him back home. He's good. He's ready to leave. Aaron's like, nah, you staying here. And he keeps pressuring him to do the smoke whatever Aaron's smoking, inhale whatever he's smoking, drink whatever he's drinking. He's just a bad influence, a very, very, very bad influence at this point. And it's surprising because Odin seems older than Aaron. I'm pretty sure he was older, so he should have been able to use his own judgment if this was what his thought process was to get out of the situation. Now, in reality, I don't think that this man actually was really caring about going out and meeting up with some strippers and drinking and smoking and all these things. I'm pretty sure he was just living his life because how many times you get to do that with an NFL player that you just met, having the time of your life, not worrying about work, getting a stack handed to you. I don't know if anybody would say no to that unless you Tim Tebow. So real life, yeah, I don't think he was that hesitant or nervous and whatnot. And soon at Aaron, they go to Aaron's halfway house, and Aaron shows off his gun collection to Lloyd. Now, this was kind of, I guess, well, this is a precursor to what happens later. But yes, Aaron and Odin are talking at night. Aaron's fading away slowly but surely, and he passes out. But before he passes out, he ends up telling Odin a lot of things of what's been going on. He probably spilled what was going on with him and his girl. He's probably spilled about why he got the house. He probably spilled about why he got the guns. He probably spilled about everything. Maybe everything. We don't know. We don't know. We don't get to see what Odin said. We just see Mr. Hernandez pass out, and soon Odin creeps out the house, and when he gets home, his girl catches him because she's like, I've been up all night. Where you been? And he's like, no, this ain't my fault. This ain't my fault. Like Aaron, I was just watching him, and she didn't believe him. She didn't believe him. She's like, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Felt like I was on Maury. And he essentially tells her what happened and where he was at. And you would think this would be a good thing because his girl feels safe. But remember, this is Aaron Hernandez's wife's sister. And she already knows what's going on with her and Aaron. So of course she's gonna tell her sister. I don't think Odin he didn't have that second piece of the puzzle put together. I don't think he knew that Aaron and his wife were at odds. Maybe Aaron didn't spill that. So if Aaron spilled that, maybe he wouldn't have said anything because it seemed very innocent of what Odin did. But in reality, he made the worst move of his life. And yeah, once we cut back to Cheyenne and Aaron waking up from his halfway house, she calls him and she pulls up and she's like, whose house is this? What is this? And then he shook. He's like, how did you find this house? How did you get here? Who told you? And she's like, Odin, you think I wouldn't find out? My sister told me everything. And so Aaron puts the pieces together and he's like, oh, snap. That means Odin told his sister who told Cheyenne. So he's hot right now. He's pissed. He's yelling in thin air. You could hear him screaming from the treetops in Gillette Stadium. It ain't looking good. And so he's pissed. He's on a 10. He thinks Odin betrayed him. He thinks Odin did him dirty on purpose. In reality, it wasn't even like that. Aaron just completely jumped, skipped, and hopped his way to every conclusion in the book. And he was out for blood. No mercy. And so, you know, Aaron goes back to football practice. We get a football montage, and he's at Patrick practice, and he's knocking everybody out. Boom, 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 and he's getting knocked out. Boom, 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 and it's like enhancing like that concussion thing as well that we sometimes touch on like every other episode. But he's going ham right now. I mean, I've been at those practices where you be mad and you just ready to somebody up. I've had those practices. Those are the best practices when you can get your anger out. That's the one thing about football that I miss is when people be making me mad and pissing me off, I can go after practice and take it out on folks. Can't do that right now or anymore unless I sign up for some boxing. But that is very euphoric and that is very stress relieving. So definitely, Aaron, he gets his frustrations out that way, and he definitely deals what he has to deal with. And soon, Aaron calls Odin, and he ain't picking up. He ain't picking up. He ain't picking up. And Aaron's like, "All right, well, I'm about to pull up on this fool." So Aaron pulls up on Odin, pulls him. He's with his two boys. I forgot. Aaron's with his two thugs, Beavis and Butthead, and he just knocks on the door, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? We going?" And Odin's like, "Where?" And he's like, "We going out to the club. Get your stuff." He's like, "All right, let me change clothes." He's like, "You ain't got to change. Let's go." And so Odin's like, I guess. And he's unfortunately he could not see the signs quick enough, but he gets in the car and they start driving and driving. And he's like, "Where are we going?" We pass the club, we pass the exit. And Aaron's like, you think you funny. Aaron starts saying some things and talking to himself and like screaming and whatnot and shooting outside. Like, I don't think that happened. There's no way in his right mind he would just be shooting a gun out in the middle of the day in the broad open air like he's Tom Hanks in a Western movie or something like that. Ain't no way that's happening, coach. And while Odin's in the car, he texts his girl and texts her a few things of what's going on. Like, really short. I think he texted like NFL, riding with him, just letting you know where I'm at, or something along those lines, just to know what happened. And that's really what happened. Now, what also happened that they didn't show is they stopped at a gas station before they picked up Odin. And that's how they were spotted as well to kind of get the timestamps on things. But they didn't show that them stopping at a gas station before. But they were riding down, and then soon they pull up to some deserted off-road lot, and it's like some I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a monster truck kind of dirt mound area, or maybe construction site. But there's just a bunch of dirt, and they get up and get out the car, and Aaron is he's on 10 right now. And he's like, I know what you did. And he keeps asking Odin. He brings him to the side away from his two dogs. He's like, just tell me what you said. Tell me what you said. Tell me what you said. And you can tell Aaron, from my point of view, it's looking like, oh, did he expose me in my secrets, my real secrets? Not the killing, not the hiding the car, not the guns, not the house. He don't care about all that. He don't care about. I don't think he really cares about none of that stuff. Like, he don't want that to be known, but he really don't want people to know that Aaron been messing around with other guys. I think that's what the case is. And we never get an answer out of Odin. So he's telling Odin, like, you tell me what you did. Tell me what you Odin's trying to explain, or he's just saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. He's panicking at this point. I'm panicking. The rats are panicking outside, hearing me panic. Like, everyone's panicking in this whole entire place right now. And the climax hits, and Aaron's pointing the gun at him. He's like, you better tell me. And then all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. And it's game over for Odin. It's game over. Kills this man. Whew. So soon, following day, I believe, or a day or two later, a runner comes across Odin's body, and they show, his Air Force One's got dirted up as well. And there is soon the news starts covering what's going down. Aaron has the TV on watching this. His boys are with him, Beavis and Butthead. And they're like, we got to get out of here and hide low key, coach. We out. And so they walk out and they're like, did you get rid of the gun? Aaron's like, no, I still got it. And they're like, bruh, don't be stupid. Get rid of that gun. Worst criminal in the world. Worst criminal. Like, terrible criminal. All the evidence, there was plethora of evidence. I don't get into it, but plethora of evidence we might show in the next episode during the trial. But yes, Aaron gets a call soon from Cheyenne, and she tells him that Odin died and got shot. And he goes back home. Cheyenne's crying, her sister's crying. It's bad. And what he says on the phone is like, "Oh, you're not mad at me anymore." She's like, "Why would I be mad at you? Somebody died." Like, Aaron is the concussion symptoms are showing now. I see. And soon he goes back to console her and her sister, but he tells his girl to go get this box and throw it out. Now, we don't see what's in this box. I don't know what's in this box. I think it might be, I don't know what's in this box. Something's in this box, and we'll find out. But yeah, she throws this box in the dumpster. Not the smartest way to where to throw it out. I mean, if somebody opens this dumpster and sees a box and then gets it, like that's and it's something important, then and incriminating, then that was the dumbest thing. You should have went to another town and threw this thing out, destroyed it. I don't know, but whatever it is, that was the goofiest thing to do. And soon, Aaron's back home, but then somebody knocks on his door and it's the cops. And Aaron's like, oh my gosh, who's calling? Don't talk to him. Don't let him in. So Aaron calls his agent. He's like, cops in my house. What do I do? And agent's like, answer it and see what they want. Did you do anything? He's like, no. He's like, okay, well then just answer the door. And so he gets to the door, goes to the cops, gets lightly questions, and seems very panicky the whole time. The cops looking at him like he crazy. He's looking real sus. And then the episode ends there. So yeah, y'all, that was episode 8, getting crazy, wild. We saw Odin come and go real quick. It was insane, sad, treacherous, and we seen this man life crashing right before our very eyes. I mean, it was a long build up to this, but this is where the end is seemingly near. But anyways, y'all, what did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you just listen to it through my recap? It was a quality episode. I like the seriousness and the drama. I'm very interested to see how this trial plays out on screen. And we got 2 episodes to go, y'all. Anyways, appreciate y'all for joining me. Please, please, peace, blessings, deuces. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Crashing out, just like the Yankees are. But hey, they're coming back tonight.